Welcome to Filmoscopy. Ooh, spooky episode.
In the middle of February.
Yes. On
With
this
the
episode,
sun still shining.
on this episode, we were talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the newly released film, direct sequel to the original 1974 film.
Actually, Cody, there's a... Okay, don't say that just yet, because there's a little something that the producer said.
Okay, well, we'll get into that. But let me introduce my co-host. First of all, I am Cody the Crow, and joining me is Lance the Llama
Shut the fuck up.
and Owen the Octopus.
I was going to say octopus, but I thought Owen the Octopussy.
Yeah, the octopus.
That's a movie title, people. Don't get
Yeah,
offended.
that's
I thought about doing
that's
body
not
parts.
lowbrow.
I thought about doing body parts, so it'd be like Lance the Larynx, but...
What would Owen's be?
Esophagus.
Oh, esophagus. You can put Owen
Is it spelled with an O or no? It's spelled with an A. My bad.
Yeah, Owen the Orifice.
Yeah.
We're going to shove our opinions in this orifice over here.
Let them stew and... Okay.
Smell the poo.
So, like I said, we were talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was released yesterday, as of the recording, which was February 18th, 2022, directly to Netflix, so there's no box office information. I'll run through the cast real quick, just the cast list, and then we'll talk about our initial opinions about it. The cast for the movie, there's Sarah Yarkin, who plays Melody, which is there's like a partnership thing between Dante and Melody. So Melody is the older sister. Elsie Fisher plays Lila, who's the younger sister. Mo Dunford plays Richter. Nell Hudson plays Ruth, which is Dante's girlfriend and the first death of the movie. Well, the first death out of the main group. Jessica Elaine plays Catherine. Sam Douglas plays Herb. William Hope plays Sheriff Hathaway. Jacob Lattimore plays Dante. Let's see. Alwyn Foray, I don't exactly know if that's the right pronunciation, but I probably not, plays Sally Hardesty. And Mark Burnham plays Leatherface. The narrator of the
John
film,
Larroquette.
John Larroquette, who, as Lance pointed out to us before we started recording, is the original narrator from the 1974 film, and he's also the narrator for the 2003 remake. So,
And he also is the star of the hit NBC sitcom Night Court from 1984 to 1992, which he received 4 consecutive Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. And he played in Stripes. He's a funny dude. If you saw him, you would kind of recognize him. Be like, oh, okay, I recognize that dude. Yeah, I didn't realize it was him. And that when he was the narrator of the original movie, that was his first acting credit. And he did it as a favor to Tobe Hooper.
yeah.
Like, I guess it was like somebody free that he knew or went to school with, and it was just free, so they did that.
Gotcha. The film is directed by David Blue Garcia, which I'm not familiar with him.
Okay, hey, hold on one second. Because this is something I want to talk about with the director. Halloween 2018, which was the new continuation of Halloween, is directed by David Gordon Green, and this is directed by David Blue Garcia. 3 names, first name David, and both of them have a fucking color in their name.
Now we need
Like, how do you, okay, I have a theory that this movie is a spoof on Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills, mainly 2018. I think it goes with the director's name, because this motherfucker doesn't have a Wikipedia page, and he's probably not real.
It's probably Fede Alvarez using like a pseudonym or whatever. The story is by Fede Alvarez and someone named Rodo Sayagüez. I don't know. Again, I'm sorry.
Here,
I'm
I'm a
probably butchering
Spanish
it.
expert. Let me take a look. All right. Wait, okay. Rodo, Greedo, say again. There we go.
Are you talking about Greedo, the one that beat up Darth Vader in Star Wars?
Yeah, he shot Darth Vader first.
Fede Alvarez is a producer. The only name out of any of these I recognize is Fede Alvarez, and that's because he directed the Evil Dead soft reboot in 2013.
It also was produced by Kim Hinkle and Ian Hinkle. Kim Hinkle was the original co-writer of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Tobe Hooper, and he came back and he was the writer and director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
Gotcha.
So they did have, that's the only original people they could really bring back from the original movie, because Gunnar Henson, Leatherface, has passed away. The original actress that played Sally has passed away, and Tobe Hooper passed away in 2017. So it's it kind of sucks that you can't have the participation you would hope, like you get from Halloween. But then again, I'm not, completely in love and tied down to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre mythology like I am Halloween, Friday the 13th. So it's not a big deal to me. I am curious what hardcore fans of the franchise think about this movie, which I have not seen.
Yeah.
But that has to be a kind of a positive, even though Next Generation did not become something big because they had to wait almost 10 years to reboot the franchise.
It's funny you bring that up because the Rotten Tomatoes score for this movie is a 31%.
That's bullshit.
That's really surprising. What is the one for Halloween Kills?
That's in the fucking 40s.
I'm sure.
What a load of shit.
I'm sure these critics are probably like, you know what, Evil dies tonight, and I couldn't agree more.
See, Halloween Kills was fucking terrible. We can go. Anybody want to go back to the archives? For some reason, it's our third most listened to episode because you people are sick.
Yeah,
but we all shit on the movie.
Yeah, comparisons are going to happen because these movies came out within a year of each other, and they're both kind of sequel reboots.
Yeah,
in a way.
And I was kind of thinking about this yesterday when I was taking a shower after I was beating my meat. No, I was like, okay, Psycho was this groundbreaking film in 1960, and people considered Halloween the next groundbreaking film of the horror franchise that spawned a bunch of stuff. So I'm like, well, if Halloween is the weird father of Friday the 13th, and Psycho is the weird father of Halloween, what is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which came out 4 years before Halloween? I guess it's kind of the weird uncle in the room of the slasher franchise, because that first Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie wasn't a slasher; it was more like an exploitation, but it had some dark humor in it.
I feel like they just made it. I'm speaking from absolute,
minimal. That's what we all are speaking. We only seen it one time.
I'm not a big Texas Chainsaw fan, but I feel like they changed it into a slasher as the series went on, just to kind of cash in, I guess.
And it's weird. This is Cody's episode, and I'm not going to try to hijack it, but we talked about, Owen talked about it. Cody, sorry. The other masculine man on the podcast.
The guy with the biggest dick on the podcast.
That's the one I'm sitting next to, not Cody. Sorry. So anyway, Cody was saying last time we read off the dates, the first movie came out in 1974. And then Tobe Hooper brought back the same actors in part 2, and that was in 1986. So it was 12 years later, and then the third one came out.
It wasn't 1986, it was 1981.
No, it wasn't 1981, dude.
Yeah. Part 2 was 1981.
Are you sure? I don't think so.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh.
Hold on.
Oh, no.
I got the list right now. Oh no, never mind. You're right. 86. Where the hell?
I'm always right.
I'm thinking Evil Dead. Evil Dead was the first one was 81, I think.
Well,
so maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Also, the second Halloween was 81, and then Friday the 13th Part 2 was 81 as well. But so it came out in 86. Now, for context, by 1986, Friday the 13th Part 6 had already came out. So we're just now getting the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then New Line got a hold of the rights. And they thought they were going to have a long-range franchise. And they did Part 3 in 1990. And then they didn't do another one for 6 years. So it's this franchise that's kind of hit or miss. I'm imagining it's a smaller fan base. Probably a hardcore fan base. Kind of like ECW for wrestling term. But this movie, like I said, when we get into the details, when Cody gets down the information, but this franchise is very hit or miss, and it's not easily defined.
It's hit or miss.
And I find that kind of endearing in a way, because the second movie is considered a dark comedy with a bunch of gore. And Toby Hooper did that on purpose because he felt like most people missed on the dark comedy of the first movie. And then Kim Hinkle, I may be saying the last name wrong, I apologize. He did The Next Generation as almost like a spoof on what the franchise had become and what slasher movies had become. And it didn't really take. That movie's got like a 17 on Rotten Tomatoes. And then you had like the 2003, 2006 movies, which were like really grim and it's Michael Bay.
Yeah, to be honest, the remake is still my favorite one in the series out of all of them I've seen.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, but you can kind of tell the Michael Bay influence of it. Boom, boom, explosions and shit.
He really did the remakes, Michael Bay.
He was a producer.
He producer, yeah.
That's cool.
And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, which came out in 2013, which was the first time a franchise ignored all the movies but the first one. Like, it did it before Halloween 2018 came out. I think that's where Halloween got the idea. And it did a lot of business, but it still it's not good. It's, like, really weird at the ending. And then they did a Leatherface prequel that we talked about before in 2017, which was supposed to be, like, Leatherface, the original, and then Texas Chainsaw 3D. And then those studios lost the rights to the movie, so this is a whole new crew that got the rights to it.
When are they going to reboot the franchise again and make him Leatherface?
Dominatrix face, Yeah. Oh wait, that's Hellraiser. I guess
that's already been done.
All right, Cody, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hijack. I just
You're good. So what were your guys' initial impressions of the film? I guess we'll start with Owen.
Okay, well, initially I fucking hated this movie. I thought it was annoying and stupid because I thought it was going to be. There's a couple of factors here. I thought it was going to be really preachy and be like, man, everybody in the South is just ignorant and stupid and like a dumb hick. And the other element is that they're definitely leading pretty heavily into like this being like, look, it takes place now. Because like you have characters that are like
driving a Tesla.
Yeah, they're driving like an automated self-driving car. They pull out their phones. They're like, "Look at my post on Instagram."
Yeah,
and even like the concept of the main characters is pretty modern. They're like these gentrifying like millennials.
The dude calls them gentry fuckers at the beginning.
Yeah. So it's definitely like rooted in modern shit. And originally it comes off as kind of annoying, but they sort of pull the rug out from under you later, so.
Okay. What about you, Lance?
I think I should go last because I'm probably going to have a positive opinion.
Okay.
So you go over, Cody.
So my impressions were kind of the opposite of Owen's. Like, I went in thinking, okay, like, pretty quick I started getting, like, Halloween 2018 vibes. And I was like, all right. So this is where they're going. I like it, But as the movie went on, it went from being enjoyable and interesting to being annoying.
Yeah.
A lot of like the things that characters were doing were kind of tropey, and it kills me in like horror movies like this when characters do certain things and you're just thinking like they're obviously not doing the thing that you should do in the situation. And
Cody, when you have a 6'5" invalid person running at you with a chainsaw,
here we go.
You tell me what your first. Okay, you tell me what your first reaction would be because
So like just one.
I'm not challenging you. I'm just like think
right.
about it from the concept. When you see a fucking spider, and I know you have the same reaction as I do, you would jump up on a fucking chair and go, "Oh my god!" So that's not the thing you would do. You should kill it. The thing's going to get away.
A couple of instances, like when he gets on the bus. And they all pull their phones out.
That was funny, dude.
It was funny.
Okay.
In a way, it's like, okay, these people on this bus are extremely annoying anyway. Like, I hate. But later on, Sally goes into the house, and he's just sitting there, and she's got a gun on him, and she just lets him walk away. Like, what?
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
It's like, what are you doing? And then, the whole, like, how conveniently when he's charging at her later, she starts firing, and she happens to miss and then hit the chainsaw and all that instead of hitting him. It's like, okay, give me a freaking break with this.
Yeah, if a shotgun hit a chainsaw, it'd fucking, like, go probably straight through the fucking thing. Like,
there was just stuff like that, like, in the last half of the movie that really annoyed me. But in the beginning, there were things that's like, oh, you know, these are like the gentrifying type millennials or whatever coming through. And it made sense, you know, it's a ghost town. It's a good setup for these out-of-towners to be there because it's like we talked about on the episode about the first movie. These killers, which, you know, in this movie is just Leatherface, they don't seek out anybody. They all just kind of stumble up to their front door, you know. And I love that, like, you know, when the lady gets sent to the hospital, then they start questioning, like, oh, well, was it really, like, you know, they really, like, make everyone kind of like gray characters instead of like, oh, well, she was wrong to be sitting here, you know.
That's when I found it, like, the most interesting was when they kind of do that switch on you, and they're like, oh, well, these characters, like, you know, they're kind of like cunts a little bit. So I thought that was cool. But I definitely do agree, like, the movie runs out of steam. Like, I definitely got bored, like, a little over halfway through.
Yeah. So what about you, Lance?
Well, I wanted to do, like, last because I'm going to be the positive opinion. I haven't had this much fun with a horror movie since Freddy vs. Jason back in 2003. Now, that was before my eyes got opened up to, like, cynical and, like, worried about, like, it's before I really got online and saw, like, people's opinions about stuff. Like,
and you saw people doing, like, it's actually quite ridiculous that Jason Voorhees would be afraid of water.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's stupid kind of shit. But not even that. Like, when I got to, like, fast forward 6 years, when 2009 came around and the Friday the 13th remake came out, I enjoyed that movie, but I was so worried about the movie being bad instead of just enjoying the moment that I was getting a Friday the 13th movie, and fast forward 13 years later, and I still don't have another one. I'm not a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. I've said that in the first movie. I did recommend the first movie for the first watch. I watched this movie twice, once by myself, and then once with my girlfriend. And the first time, I mean, I do get a little squeamish with kind of the gory shit, like him hacking, sawing, and shit like that, like cutting his mama's face off and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, that part was cool.
Cutting through the bus and just holding someone's leg up over his head.
Okay, yeah, hold on. Like, here's the part. But as I got through the movie, I had the exact opposite reaction of you guys. I had more and more fun with this movie. Not fun like, oh man, this movie's fucking terrible, I'm gonna laugh at it so bad. No, I had fun, like a thrill ride. Yeah. This was the closest thing to a Friday the 13th movie that I could ever ask for, and I will try to defend this movie as we go along as a spoof on Halloween 2018. That this movie does not take itself seriously, and it's almost mocking what the horror franchise has done. Because remember, this franchise did it first in 2013. Yeah. Like, we're going to do our own continuation thing, and that didn't work, and they tried to be serious with it.
Yeah, one big positive that this movie has going for it is that it's actually, like, competent as a fucking slasher movie, unlike Halloween Kills, which has, like... Halloween Kills has, like, no atmosphere. Like, I don't know how you fuck up, like, what Halloween's pretty much known for, but, like, there's just nothing spooky about Halloween Kills. At least this movie is an effective, like, it knows how to be a slasher movie, you know?
Yeah. And before Cody gets, like, into this, I'll just say this. I watched it the second time around, and I had even more fun. I mean, I was laughing, like, oh, this is hilarious. And then when Cody, we'll go into the parts when we talk about the plot, where Cody said, well, that's a little ridiculous. Having an invalid person running at you with a chainsaw, coming from a dark alley, you're going to sit there and kind of freak out. And the funny thing was, they took the whole badass woman that Jamie Lee Curtis is trying to portray in Halloween 2018, and they give that broad stroke of a character in Sally, but then she just turns out to be a fucking moron, and he fucking kills her anyway. Like, I don't think anybody expected her to get killed. Like, we all thought this was like the Jamie Lee Curtis thing.
Yeah,
and he fucking saws her up the fucking middle, and it's like, holy shit, and it's hilarious. Like, she has that moment where she goes up to the bedroom, and he's just sitting there like, because he's fucking tired, and obviously carrying a chainsaw around is going to make you tired.
And he's also, like, in his 60s. I mean, because...
Well, actually 70s. Okay, let's put it this way. The time frame on this, it's 50 years ago. Let's just say he's fucking 20 in the first movie, even though he looks 40.
Well,
say he's 20, so he has to be like 70.
The reason I say that he's in his 60s is because when they're talking to the woman who runs the orphanage, she specifically says that she takes in troubled kids and teens So it kind of like implies that maybe he was a teenager in the first movie, but
Yeah, but that motherfucker was huge.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Gunner was like 6'3".
Right, and that's
He's
probably
my
not the
size.
intention that they had with the original film. But I think this film, they go in saying, making it seem like, oh, maybe he was like 16 or 17 at the time.
And the thing is, like, reading, talking about the continuity of this movie and listening to, I read an interview clip or snippet that somebody had an interview with, what's his name again? The producer, Cody? I don't want to mess up his name.
Fede Alvarez.
Okay, Fede Alvarez. And he said, the way I look at it is the first movie happened and then he came to this town and was taken in by this woman. She's not actually his mother. This is from the producer's mouth. She's not actually his mother. She just takes care of him. Right. And then maybe he left and came back and part 2 and part 3 happened. So in his mind, part 2 and 3 could have happened as continuity. It's just kind of a loose, like, wink, wink, they probably happened.
Right.
And, the fact that they do have the original co-writer of the movie as a producer makes me think that, okay, they did have a little love and care. Like I said, I wish I knew somebody that was a hardcore Texas Chainsaw fan that loved all the movies or hated most of the movies because they were so cynical about it, to see what their opinion was. Because this, to me, like I said, this was a spoof on Halloween 2018. Yeah, everything you would expect in this movie did not happen.
Yeah, it definitely...
If you thought they got away, like, the way they shot at the end of the movie, spoiler alert for anybody listening, at the end of the movie, when the way they were shooting both women, like, oh yeah, fuck off, and all of a sudden he fucking grabs her. It's not shot wide when you think somebody's going to come up and grab her. They're both shot equally, like, oh, that's cool, and all of a sudden he fucking gets her, and then when he saws her head off, he's holding it up at the little girl, like, haha, look what I got, you never get this.
Well, I just killed your sister. Speaking of that last scene, I thought it was actually pretty clever the way that they did it, because I was fully expecting him to show up at the end at the last second, but they roll the sunroof down, and I was thinking, oh, okay, he's gonna grab one of them from up top, or lower the chainsaw down on him from up above. So it made me jump whenever he actually smashed the window. I was like, oh shit, because I was expecting him to come from a completely different angle. So I thought it was very clever how they shot that whole scene.
And that's a Friday the 13th ending.
He should have just stepped in front of the car since it was self-driving, and the car would have stopped.
I don't think he knows that.
Yeah, he probably doesn't know. I just think, and like I said, that's a Friday the 13th jump scare at the end, because if you watch the first 4 movies, there's a jump scare at the end of it. And I love Friday the 13th. I'm in love with that franchise, always will be. But that's what this was. Like, they had a little Friday the 13th. And I found it weird. If you look, excuse me, I get hiccups. If you look at the info on the Netflix channel, it says before Freddy and before Jason, Leatherface, I can't remember the whole description. But they did a call out to Freddy and Jason. Like, before those two guys, Leatherface was doing this. It's like, you could have called out Michael because this was before Michael.
Yeah.
But I don't, especially like Halloween 2018 was such a heavy hitter with the money. Like, it made $220 million.
Yeah.
But this movie, I think, it took the Halloween 2018, going into that movie, and I've talked about this before, going into that movie, I was excited. I watched it. It came out. I remember hating it. And then I remember Alex, my best friend, shout out to their podcast, I'll Take 3, told me 3 children away from their parents.
I think I say that every time you say I.
I think you do too. But Alex, I remember like the next year he was watching through all the Halloween movies. Is what he does, and he was like, "Man, you should really watch 2018 again. It's pretty good." I'm like, "Okay." It's kind of like what happened with Force Awakens. I watched the movie, came out hating it. And then I was like, I got talked into it. I'll give it another shot. And I remember, okay, I kind of like it. And then Halloween Kills and Last Jedi happened. It's like, what the fuck?
It just retroactively ruins it.
And just retroactively ruins. But see, this movie. Sorry, Cody, I was just get this point. But
you're good.
2018, they have this self-righteous that we're empowering this victim when it's a fucking slasher movie.
It's trying to say something, but it feels like it doesn't know exactly what it's trying to say, or it's just not clear.
You cannot mold Friday the 13th with The Godfather.
Are you?
And that's what Halloween Kills is trying to do.
Oh, and are you referring to this movie or the 2018 Halloween film?
I meant Halloween Kills. I'm sorry.
And Halloween 2018 starts that. And Halloween Kills wants to do like, oh, what is going to happen with mass hysteria and all this other shit? And they're trying to tackle all these, like, big issues in the movie, quote unquote. But
well,
it just falls flat
what the
because
message of Halloween Kills was.
Every evil dies tonight, bitch.
Yeah, evil dies tonight.
But this movie uses like present day circumstances, like the gentry fuckers, as the dude calls them, the redneck who seems like he's probably racist, but he's actually not.
Turns out to be a good guy.
Turns out to be a good guy. They use them, and they use them as fucking props for Leatherface to fucking kill. This is a slasher fucking movie. It knows what the fuck it is.
Oh yeah, and I'll say this, talking about the characters in this movie, like you said, like the redneck, like the contractor, it makes you want to believe in the beginning. It kind of makes you think, oh well, he's an asshole, not a good person. Or
he's part of the family.
He's rolling in coals.
Yeah, that crossed my mind at one point too. Like, oh, maybe he's some part of the family. But then when the orphanage thing got revealed, I was like, oh well, I think the family thing's out of it at that point. But it does play with your expectations in a lot of ways with these characters, because again, you have the main group. You think they're just these, good entrepreneurs or whatever coming to this town to gentrify it, and they're on the side of right, whereas Leatherface and the old woman running the orphanage are on like the wrong side of things. But then you find out, oh well, she did actually still have the deed to that house, that they had no right to try and force her out. They kind of, with the stress and anxiety they gave her, kind of helped cause her death. And then like there's the contractor. You think he's a bad guy, but in the end he does genuinely try and do what he can to help them. So it does. I do like how it plays with your expectations and all that.
Let me ask you guys this real quick about her, because I know the answer. Do you think she's part of the family?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, isn't she supposed to just be the orphanage lady? Like, she just ran the orphanage, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck it was?
Yeah, but, she kept calling, like, I'm your mama or something like that.
Mama.
Well, I think she probably does that because she genuinely cares for all the children that she would take in.
Yeah.
So.
And the thing I'm looking at, maybe what caused her to freak out, and I'm not trying to make this super deep because I don't think the movie goes super deep. Maybe what caused her to freak out was because that she was the only thing in this house, was the only thing that was keeping him from murdering more people.
I don't
think
so. I get
because she doesn't like the Sawyers. That's what the producer said. It's like, I think she's a good woman. I don't think she liked the Sawyers. She was trying to help him and do the best she could. That's all he had for kindness. And that's what it was. And I think that that was part of it. Like, oh, you have to go. And she's like, oh God. And remember, she's freaking out before, and she's like, it's okay, baby, go back in your room.
Well, yeah. And, she may have seen instances of violence and stuff.
I think she knows who Leatherface is, because she told him, like, don't go in my room, be a good boy.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but I don't know. I mean, it's just so hard to tell from what they give you in this movie. I believe that no one had any idea who he was. That who knows what happened after the events of the first film. It could be you were saying, like the producer gave like a wink and a nod about him maybe going back to the family or whatever. Who knows? I mean, obviously, because they don't do like the whole flashback thing to really like spell it out for you.
When they did the spoken intro part, and the guy's like, on the unsolved mystery of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they had dramatizations and they showed like scenes of the movie. Mm-hmm. Like that's actually pretty funny. I'm like, okay, I like that.
Yeah. So let's do a run through of the plot. I think we can do that with this movie. So the movie starts off with the four friends heading down to Harlow, Texas. They let you know that the bank seized the town, and I guess they bought it up in an auction or whatever with plans to gentrify it, bring in other people of their generation to buy out the town and redo it as like a modern millennial town. when they get
I don't
there,
know if it's millennials. What are they called now?
they are they are. I think they are millennials because
yeah, they're not Zoomers.
Yeah, they're in their late 20s.
If they were Zoomers, they'd be like, "On God, bro."
I think there's something after like millennials.
Yeah, it's Zoomers.
I think that's them.
I
think millennials are like people almost in their 40s now.
No. I'm technically a millennial.
I'm technically a Zoomer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Millennials, I think, was anyone born up to like 96 or 97.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, if they were Zoomers, they would be like, they wouldn't be on Instagram. They'd be on TikTok, and they'd be like, I don't know, eating Tide Pods or some shit.
They'd be doing the Jackson Mahomes dance.
They'd be like, bruh, for real. They'd all have like that broccoli head haircut that all the fucking kids have.
Yeah. Real quick, the thing that bothers me the most is when someone texts you FR like for real.
For real,
I'm like,
bro.
Fucking type it out!
Oh God, bro,
like I had this like one of my coworkers, Bevan. She won't listen to this, but I remember she just like when she would text me like she's calling out or whatever, and she would just say like the 2 letters thing. And I would have to Google like all of her text messages. Like, what the fuck is she talking about?
Put it in.
Like, who says okay and just puts K like K-A-Y? Do what?
The Zoomer to English translator.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like she would text K, like not the letter K, like I would do, which everybody gets irritated with. She would take K, like K-A-Y, instead of okay. I'm like, couldn't you put one fucking letter?
I don't think that's a Zoom. That's a her thing.
I know it's just, but anything, it's just the whole thing. Everybody's just like. I mean, LOL. That's what I do. But.
Yeah, that's old.
And
if these guys were Zoomers, they'd see Leatherface and be like, "Yo,
you getting canceled, bro? You want to type on?"
Yeah, they'd be like, "This quirked up white boy, dude. He's busting it down.
You lost me now.
he busting it down, dude. He goaded on the sauce, bro, for real."
See, that's exactly. If anybody out there is listening. Tweet us at FilmosophyPod and help translate what Owen just said because me and Cody don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
I got the on God thing, but that's pretty much it.
Yo, he goaded on the sauce, bro. For real.
I guess Lance is cranky old man now.
But yeah, this group is definitely like on the younger side of the millennials. The older side of millennials are the people that are probably about 40 now, but the younger side, the late 20s, early 30s side of it.
Gotcha, okay.
So they're heading to this town. Well, I guess it starts off with them in like a convenience store or at a gas station, and they see the contractor pull up, but they don't know that's the contractor. And
he's got like heavy metal. It's something I would be listening to, like.
What?
And then he.
Back up.
Okay, real quick. You know the commercial? Have you seen the Sing 2 yet, Cody?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the commercial where the old lizard woman is...
She's listening to Chop Suey by...
yeah.
She's like, Grandma, put that makeup. She goes,
Wake up. Suck a little dick and then you fuck.
So there's like a confrontation where, one of the characters says something about his gun. They're like, oh, how small does your penis have to be to carry around a gun?
Why would you go to Texas? Like, who goes to Texas and, like, they must have seen, like, a million uplifted trucks and people walking around with guns, and it's just, like, they're like,
I think that's
God.
It's just setting the tone for, like, that age group,
The mind,
like,
yeah. And then versus, like, Texas.
Yeah. And, he tells him, like, what does he say? He's like, there's wild hogs or something around here.
He's like, look here, libtard.
How you get rid of invasive species, you gotta hit them head on. And then, and then he does the, sorry, big gun intimidates you.
She's like, I've seen bigger. And then they drive off.
Cody, did she lick her lips like you just did? I heard you do that.
Just drool running down her face. So they drive off. He passes them on the road. They get pulled over by the sheriff. They talk a little bit. They go to town.
Like when you go to town, you mean they go to have sex? Like they're going to town?
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, the sheriffs basically kind of give them like a passive-aggressive warning about, this is our town sort of thing.
So far, this movie is very stereotypical.
Yeah.
At this point, like everybody's clearly defined: the gentry fuckers, the redneck. Sheriff.
Again, they're setting the expectations for what these characters are, just to later on kind of put a curveball on everything. they go to the town. They find out that the guy that they met at the gas station is the contractor. They see a Confederate flag on the side of a building, and the contractor looks at him and says, "Don't you touch that man's heritage, damn it."
No, he didn't say that.
Yeah, I know.
He's
I was
like,
joking.
"Hey, boy, take your hat off and respect."
I was like, Cody, don't veer off yet. And that's when they go into the house. You have like your first kind of jump scare.
Yeah.
And then, because he goes upstairs in the house to try, because obviously this is a deserted town. He goes upstairs in the house to go get the flag off. It's outside the window, and the window has like a bar. But what's cool is about the camera shot, when he goes upstairs and opens up the window, you see somebody sitting in a chair in the hallway.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
It's a Leatherface, and he's like, "That's heritage, not hate."
Hey, listen here, motherfucker. No, but it's actually Leatherface sitting there. So he's over here trying to pull the flag off, and then it goes back to that same shot, and nobody's sitting there anymore.
Oh, I completely missed the fact that he was sitting there.
Yeah, I had to point it out to Brittany.
Like
But,
I was waiting for something to happen just because the way that they shot it. You know, there's a lot of negative space in the shot, like when they kind of do the shot from the hallway. And I was thinking, oh, you know, I'm half expecting Leatherface to show up and grab him, but you know, nothing happens.
Yeah, Leatherface was in that shot just for a split second, and then he goes back and he's gone. And I mean, it's a quick shot because you can kind of see him without his mask, and they do those shots where you can see him when he doesn't have a mask yet.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like a normal looking dude, not really deformed like you think he would be. But yeah, he does that, he can't reach it, and they go downstairs, and he's like, "I can't get it." And then that woman with the breathing machine is like, "What are you doing in my house?"
Yeah, and then she offers him some sweet tea. Ooh, buddy, this sweet tea's the best damn sweet tea
Now
I
listen here,
ever did saw.
Take a left at the interstate.
Pretty sure
But a right.
Owen's
bring
birthright
it right
land.
Back here to me.
Pretty sure Owen's birthright land in Indiana, they don't have sweet tea up there.
Yeah, they sell you fucking unsweet tea. It's disgusting as fuck.
So anything
No ice
above
in
the
it.
Kentucky line, like anything above the Kentucky line.
No, I think in Kentucky they have sweet tea also.
Yeah, I'm talking above.
Oh,
the
you
Kentucky
mean
line.
above?
Yeah, they do not have sweet tea. So we can sit there and make fun of sweet tea, but it's a disgusting
Yeah.
thing that they don't have.
If you ask for
like,
tea,
it's disgusting that they don't have that.
yeah, if you ask for tea in Indiana, they give you unsweetened tea, and you have to ask for the packets.
Oh, here's the thing.
They give you a
There's-
hot tea.
There's there's some kind of fucking Italian restaurant. It was in Hendersonville, and it was here in Clarksville, but it closed down. And
Is it
didn't do good business.
Demos?
Yes, Demos. Their sweet tea, they give you tea and they give you this fucking sugar water you have to pour into it and then mix it up.
Water with sugar.
Sure, more sugar. More water.
We're trying to appeal to the cockroach demographic.
The cockroaches and the heroin addicts.
Yeah. Have I showed you guys this? This is completely off topic, but there's this GIF of this little cockroach. He's like drinking beer out of a mug. It's like my favorite GIF.
I've never seen
No,
that.
you should send it to us.
Yeah,
You never text back in the group chat.
I do occasionally.
No, you don't. It's like, all right, guys, we're ready to record in 2 weeks, right? And Cody will be like, yep. Oh, and it's just like nothing.
It'll be crickets.
And then here's the best part. I'll be like, hey, guys, don't forget to watch the movie the day before. And Cody goes, duh, LOL. And then the next day, Cody goes, this is going to be an interesting movie. 2 hours later, 4 hours before we record, Owen goes, where's the movie at?
I didn't remember if it was on Netflix or if it was like on something else, like HBO Max or something.
Okay, where were we?
They're having a talk
woman
about
in
the
sweet
deed.
tea. Yeah, so they basically tell the woman that the house isn't hers; it's theirs. She needs to get out. She says that she has the deed. She refuses to show it to him, which is her right. And then she starts to get sick when the sheriff.
She starts freaking out a little bit.
Yeah,
they're like, when we get the sheriff, she goes,
They're like,
I'm not. Well, first it kind of goes. I'm not a big fan of it. I understand what they're doing. Like when the sheriff stops them at the beginning before they get into the town, Dante makes a comment about keep your hands where you see them, and kind of like a commentary, which is kind of uncomfortable for me, about what's really going on in this country.
yeah. I mean, they have it on their like phones too. You see like the hands up, don't shoot thing.
Yeah,
That's what you're talking about.
It's like, yeah, but it's not so much like I'm like I don't believe in that. It's like it's kind of a real life issue when it gets that kind of close. I can understand like the whole gentry shit and making fun of like millennials.
Yeah,
but when they kind of hit on like a real life thing, that's when
it's a little less. It's a little less humorous. You can't laugh at that shit.
Yeah, I think it's like the way that they handle it because it's like they're doing it in like a joking manner. And
and
it's not
this
really
one,
something to joke about.
Yeah, and you know, I could see, like, for me, with this movie, that's the one drawback, or those two little instances, because she does say, you know, the N word, but not the. Okay, no, she says an N word, and it's not a nice word.
She uses the antiquated
version of it, and it's like, okay, did you guys really have to put that in the script? I mean, that's my one drawback, is that kind of shit. Like, this is 2022, we don't have to sit there and do that, but they're like, well, she's stuck in the old times and all that kind of shit. I understand what they're going for. You just didn't have to put that in this movie. That's the only two things that weren't enjoyable. Like, we didn't have to have that. It's a little too close to home because it's still happening in this country. Like, all this, like, making fun of millennials bullshit. Like, yeah, I get that. I mean, we're fucking stupid.
I mean, I get kind of what they're trying to, like... So I think that's part of their thing, where they're trying to be, like, giving you that preconceived notion to kind of pull the rug out from under you.
Yeah. I think you can do it without, like, the whole race thing.
Yeah, you could, but I
think it's such a, like...
I think on one hand, it's an elephant in the room kind of situation.
I think so, too, but at the same time, it's like, this whole racial thing, which is a huge thing, and it's not like this movie dives deep into it.
Yeah.
But it's like a big fucking pond, and you have a big fucking frog, a lily pad, whatever the fuck you call it, where they jump on it. But the thing's fucking huge. You can miss that. You don't have to put the racial thing, because like I said, that's what separates it from being completely, like, fabricated in a fun movie for me. So, like, okay, you're going to draw, like, and it's not even, like, followed up on.
There's also the school shooting thing.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, you know, those are the few things, like, okay, that's some real shit. I've been just finding out they were just, like, fucking pansy-ass fucking gentry fuckers. Millennials. That's fine. You don't have to go in the school shooting thing and, you know, going into, like, the racial thing. And to not follow up on it, just use it as a throwaway line. That first time with the cops, will keep your hands where they can see them. It's just a throwaway line at that point.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
it's the same thing as, like, messing with the race thing. It's like, it doesn't ever play a major part. It's like Owen saying, they're just, literally all they're using it for is to try and set up
a moment.
It was to set up this notion that, oh, well, maybe these aren't good people.
But the thing is, like, the whole, like, everything with this movie, after they establish a point, they move to the next point pretty quickly. Like,
right. And that's my point. Is like, they use it to set this thing up, but then it's never, like, actually followed up on. The school shooting thing actually comes back around, you know, so very briefly. But
the main character has an arc in which she doesn't like guns at first, but then she uses a gun.
And then like the event on the bus reminds her of the school shooting thing and kind of puts her into, like, shock. Again, was it necessary? Not really, but you know, they're at least trying to give these characters some sort of backstory, as opposed to, well, it's just 4 people wandering into town and here comes Leatherface to kill them all. You know what I mean? Like so many of these movies do. But anyway, so the sheriff shows up. They go to carry her out of the house. She gets sick, and they go to take her to the hospital. Leatherface.
You don't know it's Leatherface yet, but you're kind of hinting around that.
Well,
he comes down.
I mean, you can kind of tell.
I mean, I think we all know that's Leatherface.
Yeah,
dude's like 6'6" and 350 pounds. I think we know
long,
who he's going to be.
Black hair.
His hair was very nice.
He's just an anime fan.
Stinky breath.
Big and greasy.
He's like, "What do you? I want another grape soda."
He's like, "Grandma, wake up!" Hey, you know when he's putting one part made me laugh when Leatherface is putting, like, the oxygen mask on the lady, and he's like, "Live, damn you, live!"
I can't make it in this cruel world without you.
He's like, "No, god damn it, live, damn you!"
And then all of a sudden the sheriff
They really drive home the fact that he's an anime fan when he's upstairs later and he's listening to Baby Metal.
And here's the best part.
Yeah,
after he goes in his little diatribe, like, "Live, damn you!" The deputy sheriff is sitting there with it, starts clapping with the performance, like, "This is good shit."
He's like, "You saved her."
Everything's okay, Thomas.
I think. So I wanted to say something real quick.
That's okay. You don't have to.
All right, never mind then. No, I'm just kidding. One thing that
that's such a poor mouth. It's okay.
Is a negative with this movie is the set design, they don't have any, like... So you know how in the first movie they have, like...
It's a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're like. I need some fucking elaborate shit. Where's my fucking Star Wars? I want Ron Kylo Ren.
What do you mean by set design necessarily?
So you know how in the first movie they have all those cool, like, creepy, like, skeleton idols and shit, and all those pots and pans hanging from the thing? I know they couldn't really do that, but I think they could have had, like, a scene where they go into his room and it's, like, full of just weird shit. But I don't know.
Well, you know, you gotta... I think they're making it out to be like he's kind of been inactive.
Docile.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, like, he could still have, like, I mean, not like, maybe like little critter bones. I'm not a human.
I think that falls into like what the producer was saying about her, that she's a good lady.
Yeah.
She was a positive influence on him.
Oh,
and she didn't want him killing.
I didn't think about that.
Instead of the guy being like, "Look what you did to the door."
Yeah, I didn't think about that because if he had that stuff in his room, it would imply that she was in on it. So yeah, that makes sense.
And if he's leaving for like parts 2 and then parts 3 and it comes back, it's like he's having his fun, but he's also having his cake, which is a nice clean home to go to.
He had his cock and ate it too.
Oh god. Well, he had somebody's cock and ate it too. No part of the body gets wasted now.
He just starts sucking on a dick.
Oh man.
Well, let's go to the fucking first killing, which was pretty badass.
Yeah, so the old lady dies in the truck, and it's very, very, very sad
a van,
for Leatherface.
But it's a van.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's a van.
It's a paddy wagon.
Well, if it was a truck and when they crash into something, they'd be sitting in the bed and they would fly up, so it did not happen that way.
Anyway, they're in the back of the paddy wagon, and
what the fuck is he calling it, a paddy wagon?
That's what they called the...
I know, but...
Have you seen the SpongeBob movie?
Yes.
Yeah, where they ride around in the Krabby Patty? That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I was like, Cody's just like, they're in the paddy wagon now, okay?
The paddy wagon. Steel belted pickles.
Hey,
real leather interior.
We saw what you were doing over there, eh? We're going to get you in the back of this paddy wagon.
Sorry, Cody, go ahead.
So, she dies. Leatherface is upset. Tries to bring her back to life, like you all were just talking about with the live. Damn it, live.
He like puts the. He's like so professionally like puts the mask on her and like does like CPR and like checks her pulse.
And then the deputy that's in the back with him, he reaches out and touches him. Right? He's like, you know.
And he grabs his hand. He goes, "Hey, I don't know why." He goes, "Well, first off, he's kind of incensed that he goes." Hey, Sheriff, I think she fucking croaked.
Oh, yeah, he is a bit of a prick.
I'm just like, okay, first off, dude, you're like 6 foot tall, and this other dude's like 6'5".
Yeah, maybe.
Now, I'm only 6'2.5", and Cody's about 6 foot, so it's not the huge thing, but I don't think Cody would fuck with me if I'm that big. In the back of the way, he's like, hey, and then he's shaking the air can thinking, like, it's going to wake her up or something. Yeah. That's all he's trying to do. He's a kid.
It's like, let him go through this moment of grief instead of being like, hey, you dumb fuck.
What are you doing?
But Leatherface grabs his hand and like nothing snaps the bone out of the skin.
It breaks the hand, like the arm in half almost, hanging up, and then stabs the dude in the fucking jugular.
Yeah,
with
his bone. It is a very like cool kill.
That's fucking Friday the 13th style kill right there.
He had pulled his gun out. And when this happens, when he gets stabbed, he shoots the driver, which I guess is the sheriff.
Well, no, he doesn't shoot. Well, see, the deputy has the gun.
Right.
And they're wrestling with the gun, and then he slams the deputy's hand into the roof of the van, not paddy wagon. No, I'm just kidding. The gun goes off and shoots the sheriff right through the throat. And that's when he goes veering off the road and crashes into that big, like, combine tractor thing.
It's just like JFK's assassination.
And
yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Let's just say that no one thought that tractor was sexy.
Shut the fuck up.
Wait, there was a tractor in this movie?
Well, no, it's what the van crashes into, the big combine tractor thing.
Say things about tractors fucking sexy.
And I'll tell you one thing, that fucking van crashes into it, and that tractor thing has no give. The thing doesn't fucking move.
It's the stone.
And that chick, okay, first and foremost, when they take Mrs. Mack is what they call her in the credits. Leatherface's adopted mama.
Mrs. Mack Paddywhack.
and the paddy wagon. Never mind, Cody, you're right. I apologize the whole time.
They did it because it rhymed.
Dante's girlfriend goes with them because for some reason they feel like this kind of moral thing. Like, we gave her a heart attack. Somebody should go with her. And this chick, the actress who plays her, I don't know her name. I don't really care to know her name. No disrespect. Looks a lot like Margaret Robbie to me. You know.
Yeah, I can see it.
I saw it because I watched it the second time. I'm like, damn, she looks like Margaret Robbie just a little bit. But she wakes up and she sees the dead bodies around her, and then she looks in the corner of the rearview mirror. Leatherface has got his adopted mother's body on the ground, and he's sawing her face off with a piece of glass. And it's like, ooh, like I mean that part it got me both times. Like, ooh, this is kind of gross.
Which we actually go back to the town before that scene, right? Because that's when.
But they're just doing the auctioneer shit at that point.
Yeah. That well, there's that, and then the contractor comes out and he's like, I saw, because he overhears. Or no, he
hasn't done that yet.
He's talking to the girl and like showing her the
Lily.
gun at this point, and
Lily,
that's when
Lila?
you get. Was it Lila? Hey there,
L-I-L-A.
Delilah.
It was
what's
Layla.
it like in
It was
New York City?
Layla. Ding, ding, ding.
I'm 1,000 miles away, but girl, tonight you look so gritty. Yes,
Pretty,
you
yeah,
do.
you do.
I thought he was going to say, "Girl, I want to see your titties." Yes, I do.
Her name,
Yeah,
Lila. Lila's the younger sister.
Lila Loomis.
So that's when you get the whole the little backstory about her being involved in a school shooting. She has a scar on her chest where she was shot. And the sister, Melody, comes in looking for her and sees her come out of the bathroom upstairs and thinks that she slept with the contractor. And that's when he overhears her telling Lila that the old woman died.
He gets all pissed off.
Yeah.
And it's just like perfect timing, like Dante throws the keys to, what's her name, Melanie?
Melody, yeah.
Okay. Throws the keys to her. He catches them midair and takes the keys out of the bus. I thought the bus driver was a little stupid, but he was gone. And he went up there and grabbed the bus keys, and he said, "It's like, I heard what you did to that lady.
I heard what you did."
And he fucking gets like real aggressive, like almost like does a little mini headbutt to him and shit. Like,
I heard what you did last summer.
Yeah, he's like, "Step up, pussy. Come on, square up."
But then he was like, "You get to deed that house." She didn't agree. She's like, "I'll give you keys back." And then that's when they go on the bus and they find out, oh wait, we don't have the deed in the house. Let's go into her house and see if she has a deed. Like, how the fuck are they going to find a spot where she'd have the deed in that mess hole?
They just did it
really
easy.
That's a little convenient, that part.
They had a deed.
So I guess at this point it cuts back to the van, and that's when you see like you see Leatherface cutting off the old woman's face, and
he does a very good job, to be honest with you.
No, he's had a lot of practice.
Well, he also I don't know if you guys noticed this. He cut like enough skin off of her like head to make slits that fit over his ears to make the mask fit.
That's really cool. That's a good idea.
He shows back up in town like very professional, brah.
He's like, look at this cool mask I made.
And then like he goes back to the place like in Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and they're like, awesome costume. Would you get that from Japan? He goes, no, I made this myself.
He's like, I'm gonna put this on Wish and I'm gonna sell it on Etsy.
But then, Margaret Robbie is trying to get like somebody to answer the call. Like, she doesn't know how to use a police radio. I wouldn't either. But she's like, help me, he's cutting her face off. And then the gas station dude overhears it, which he does nothing. And then Leatherface shows up because the sheriff is starting to stir. Like, he hasn't completely bled out yet.
Yeah, the gas station guy overhears it, and he's just like, not my problem. Walks on the walk. Like, he's like...
No, he eventually contacts Sally, though.
Oh, I thought...
Maybe it's him. He's the one that calls Sally, yeah.
For some reason, I thought that she was also overheard it or something, but that'd be kind of weird.
But yeah, the Leatherface comes up and smashes the sheriff in the head like 3 times with the air tank.
Yeah.
And then, which, we had that really cool scene where she's crawling over him to try to get out. She turns around and there's Leatherface, and he's looking at her, and he's like turning his head like a fucking dog would. Like, huh? Well, and that's very Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees-esque, which is cool.
And he kills her. trying to remember. Oh yeah, he stabs her with a knife or something, right?
No, he stabs her with a piece of glass into the stomach, and then
Yeah.
he slices across her stomach.
And it's like when she's like trying to hold his hand back, I'm just thinking, oh, poor girl. I mean, he just literally snapped a dude's arm with no effort. Like, you're not going to be able to hold him off.
It was fucking awesome. And then it's the best part is like after that, it shows him peeking up above the field of like old dandelions. I'm not sure what the fuck it was.
The old
and then he
sunflowers.
Do what?
They're sunflowers.
Oh, sunflowers. Is that what they are?
Yeah, because they say like a poem thing in the beginning when they get pulled over by the sheriff. You know, like
they say Mayflowers will bring spring showers.
They say something like Harlow when the first Harlow sunflower blooms, then winter is doomed or something like that.
Oh, I thought it said the Harlem Globetrotters. That's my
bad.
But then he peeks up like peekaboo, and then he walks out on the. He's just like walking back to the town. I'm like, this motherfucker walking a lot.
That must not have gotten very far out of town either, because he gets back there pretty quick. In time,
yeah, I mean, it's a slasher movie. It's convenience. Okay.
He finds a skateboard. And I did that.
It's like, cool story, bro. And then he does some killing.
Yeah, because it cuts back and they're going through the house looking for the deed, which they find it, and then they realize, oh shit, we were wrong.
Well, she realizes it. Dante doesn't yet.
Oh yeah,
He's
Dante's
downstairs.
Yeah.
Melanie is upstairs in the woman's room.
And Leatherface shows up and just slices the fuck out of his face.
Which you don't see till later on, which is the cool thing.
Yeah. I thought he was dead with all the blood pouring out. I was like, and then when he starts getting up, I'm like, that's kind of like crazy that he's even able to walk after all that. But, yeah, like you said, she starts coming down the stairs and sees Leatherface attacking him. I guess he's already on the floor, but and then she goes off and hides
in the closet, and then he's actually looking for a dress that his mother would wear. I thought he was gonna wear the dress, kind of like Norman Bates, Ed Gein style.
He said yes to the dress,
but he just grabs the dress and he kind of sits there and puts it towards his face, because he's all sad and shit.
Yeah.
And then he grabs some of her makeup and tries to put it on, i.e., like the Pretty Woman mask.
Yeah, I thought that's what I was thinking too. Is like maybe it's like a little nod to the Pretty Woman mask from the first movie.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like she, it's. I keep thinking about the woman's face when they show her without her skin on. Mm-hmm. And later on, it just looks ridiculous, but it's still kind of gross.
Yeah. So Dante gets up and stumbles out.
The whole time he was, hold on, what's her name? Melanie. She's hiding in the closet, and then she tries to leave, and she hides up underneath the bed.
Yeah.
So she's kind of stuck in there, and fucking Leatherface, he breaks the mirror, and he fucking starts bashing down the bedroom wall to get the chainsaw out. Well, Dante gets up, and then walks out. Like I said, I've seen it twice. Dante gets up, walks out, and then the redneck dude, the carpenter's like, hey, what'd you do in that house? Huh? Yeah. And then he starts seeing that, he sees some red on his shirt from behind, and he's walking, so he's like, hey, man, you okay? And he turns around, and his fucking face looks like fucking Melina from Mortal Kombat when her face splits open and her cotton teeth shows up.
Yeah, and then there's a girl that's like, what's going on?
That's the banker chick.
Oh yeah, and then she goes back to the bus where there's like a party going on because it's raining outside. There's a storm or whatever, and
this has to be like, it feels like a big bus, like how they make it, like they have the curtains drawn and then they have a big rave party at the back end of it, which is kind of stupid. But then a redneck goes up to the house thinking he's gonna be a hero, and he's got his little handgun.
Yeah.
And instead of handing I like the scene when he's about to get killed. Spoiler alert. That he pulls the keys off his belt and tries to hand them to Melanie up underneath the bed, and then of course Leatherface doesn't notice that. He's just smashing his fucking brains in with a hammer.
Yeah, I was.
He could have gave the keys to them.
I was kind of like nervous because I was like, oh god, he's gonna give away that she's under the bed, like sitting there trying to like reach out to give her the keys, but
yeah, I think that was kind of a fake out too. Like, oh god, and it's like he could have gave the keys to them right then and there before he ran to the house.
You know what else? Something else that got me about this scene is when after Leatherface leaves the room and she gets out from under the bed, she grabs the keys, but it's like, why didn't she look for the gun? Because he dropped the gun and no one took it. So why not look for the gun and take it with you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
like
you're analyzing the scene from like the TV screen though. I don't know if I would even like been smart enough to fucking grab that
well,
or have that.
Well, I think anyone with common sense would have been, because it's like there's some 6'6" motherfucker running around hacking people to death, and there's a gun somewhere on this floor.
But he's invincible.
Well,
Guns don't even work on him.
And then Cody, this is also you got to look at this too, Cody. This is also what everybody has said about slasher movies their entire existence. Like, why did they do that? It's fun. This is the whole point of the movie.
This is one of the things that like it starts to like annoy me, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where it gets kind of tropey, where the thing that makes sense doesn't happen, and it's like obviously you saw him come in with a gun, and you saw that he got killed, obviously, and no one picked the gun up, so why not grab the gun? I mean, they could have had her grab the gun and still end up losing it some other way or whatever, but the fact that no attempt is even made to find it, it's like the first time I rolled my eyes. It's like, okay, here we go, you know.
You're not really a slasher fan though, too. So let's go ahead and like I am a slasher fan, and I recognize this, and this feels like a back to slasher route just for any kind of movie, and it's fun. Cody likes more like the ghost haunting type horror movies.
Yeah, the only slasher franchise I would say like I'm a huge fan of is probably Nightmare on Elm Street, which things like this don't really come into play that much since it all happens in dreams. So, for the most part,
I'm not a huge fan of Nightmare on Elm Street myself. So, like this is like this is the horror dude that's wearing the mask and all that kind of shit like that. It's just a lot of shit. And like I said, there's a couple fake outs. She tries to leave the room.
I love when she's trying to leave the room and she has to do all that effort to try and sneak around and not make the.
And he's right there at the fucking stairs.
Yeah, it's like
her shoes are going skirt.
Well, it's like when she jumps down on the steps and like she makes like that soft landing. I'm like, oh, that I actually like. I'm thinking, oh, that's actually pretty impressive. And then it looks up the stairs and he's standing right there. It's like, oh crap.
That was fucking, and then he throws that fucking hammer at her, and she falls.
I was wondering what that was, because it kind of just looked like he just like lifted his arm up and she fell down. Like he was just like, fall.
Like he's Ermac.
Yeah, he like, fucking commands her. He's like,
the teleport slam.
He's like, I command you to fall.
But he throws the hammer at her. She goes flying back like 9 flights of the stairs, like 9 more steps.
Yeah.
And then crashes into the floor. Like, man, that was a fucking sick fall.
And then she gets poop on her head.
Oh, God.
She's walking around a duty head.
Poop on her, dude. They fucking pooped on her. Wow.
But but then he grabs the chainsaw. Well, first off, how ridiculous this is. I know this is ridiculous, and I still love it. He grabs a chainsaw. I think it's supposed to be the chainsaw from the first movie.
It is.
The first movie that happened 50 years ago. That motherfucker would have been rusted up.
It would have been.
There would be no gas in it. It would have been gelled up.
The hoses would have been dry rotted. I mean, all kinds of problems.
I don't even know if there was there probably would have been a hose on it back then, like 73. But the thing is that he never runs out of gas.
Well, it's like that's something else I kind of thought, because he breaks it out and they did say in an interview that is the original chainsaw, and he breaks it out. He's like using it with no problem. Like, I would think that there would be quite a few issues with this thing that's been sitting in a wall for.
Now, okay, here's
decades.
Another thought. It's just popped in my head. Remember when she's climbing over the guardrail of the stairs, and then before she jumps down, she keeps looking up at his bedroom. You hear kind of like a pipe noise, like somebody's hitting a pipe. Maybe that was him priming up the lawnmower. He was gassing it up. He greased down the fucking saw blade. He made sure it's ready.
He's performing routine maintenance on it right then.
Yeah, maybe that's how you can kind of like 50-year-old chainsaw.
He replaced the chain, got a new blade for it put on,
and that's an American-made chainsaw.
Get a new spark plug.
Oh, yeah, and here's the thing. That's an American-made chainsaw, too. Not that Yokohama bullshit. So, it's got good quality in it from the 70s.
That shit's built Ford tough, as they say.
I really don't think, that chainsaw was in good condition in the first movie, to be honest with you, too. So, it's amazing that it's working. I think it's ridiculous. I fucking love it, though. It's hilarious.
It would have been, they should have modernized it, and he went downstairs and grabbed an electric chainsaw.
One with the
He's
battery
like, now
pack.
this is working. He goes,
Hey, what if you got the one, like, the one that has the rechargeable battery pack?
Yeah.
He goes over the wall, unplugs the new battery, plugs it in.
He's like, you have your self-driving cars, but I got an electric chainsaw that recharges.
He has an extension cord he's pulling out.
Yeah.
It's just plugged into the
Little do you know, it's
It has
actually a Super
Wi-Fi.
Bowl commercial.
It's a smart chainsaw, so he has to like talk to Siri to get it to like
A
start.
fucking
Siri.
Toyota.
Siri, start up
electric
to speed
chainsaw.
2.
Hey Siri, cut these fucking kids' heads off.
Cutting heads off.
Starting cutting head program.
But
I didn't understand you.
Yeah, he's like, hey, what's your guys' Wi-Fi password? I need it so that I can use this.
so cool scene. It's a cool shot. They get the keys back and first and foremost, he's sawing kind of like this little maze. He's sawing the floor trying to get to Melody.
Yeah, he's like
Melody.
He's Melody.
Melody.
He's sawing like the beams and stuff underneath. I was half expecting the floor to give out underneath him.
Yeah, he's a big fucker. You think he would, but when she gets to the end and it hits the fucking pipe and all that shit falls on her, I fucking gag. I'm like, ugh, no.
I said, duty.
Yeah, I wonder if he stopped cutting because he felt it hit that pipe, so maybe he thought he got her for a brief
Can
second.
we fucking talk about how that fucking chainsaw wouldn't have cut through a pipe?
Yeah.
That was a thick pipe. The sewer pipe has to be one of the thickest in the fucking house.
There's a lot of shit when it comes to chainsaws where because like I was saying earlier, you couldn't even cut through a person like that with a chainsaw. That shit would get gunked up so fast. But that's not fun. So
no, it's not fun. So shut up.
Yeah. So I think he stops trying to get her, and then
no, he doesn't do that. He hits the end, and he hears somebody yell outside. So he's going outside, and it's her sister.
He smells poop, so he's I shit my pants.
I thought that he stopped, and then he hears the sister, and then he kind of goes back, oh well, someone's here. You know what I mean?
Well, I think how the scene played out was when he hits the thing, and she's yelling, it's like, hey, I'm here, I'm trying to get you. And he looks back immediately. He still has the chainsaw in his hands. He didn't walk away.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I gotta go. And then he runs off like he has to take a shit.
Yeah. So they run off to the bus at this point, and they get on the bus, and he follows them over there because obviously, and when he gets on the bus, everyone pulls their phone out.
Well, no, first off, they get on the bus and they give the keys to the bus driver's like, fucking go! And they drive off, and then he's at a building, and then he does something to the side of the bus, I guess cuts the fucking wheels so they can't go. And then the bus driver gets off, and a really good shot, to be honest with you. He gets off and runs back there, gets his head cut off, and Leatherface, who's not even at the front of the bus yet, throws it, it hits the fucking door and bounces onto the step for the girl to see, perfectly. That's a trick shot. It's like he's on Dude Perfect. He's gonna do a trick shot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Dude Perfect.
He does a fucking bottom.
I'm Bubba Sawyer. Welcome to Dude Perfect.
And then she just and then you see him walking towards it, and then she sees the head, and with the door fucking open, turns around and walks through there, and she just tells everybody in a whisper, "Run!" Oh my god!
I think she just she's so in shock by it.
She is, and then the iconic scene from the trailer, Leatherface comes through, and he looks around at all these people. They all bring up their fucking cell phone.
Is that in the trailer?
It is in the trailer.
Oh,
see, I didn't know because, like I said, when they put the first trailer out, the first trailer starts with the van hitting that combine thing, and as soon as I saw it, I just turned the trailer off. I'm like, I don't want to see anything from this movie.
You got mad because they desecrated a beautiful combine harvester.
Oh yeah, I just love my
Fuck
combine.
this. I can't stand it.
Leatherface is looking at all these people like they're sardines in a can. This is awesome.
And they pull their phones out, and one of them's like, "You're gonna be canceled, bro."
And the best, there's a message on it where it's like somebody's messaging because he's I guess on Instagram Live or whatever as this is happening, and it shows through the phone lens, which was kind of cool. Leatherface starting up the chainsaw, and you see somebody's message, "You blew me off for this," and then as he's getting killed, they're like, "OMG, is this real?" And then somebody else goes, "I want to go." It was hilarious.
It's just it kind of gets silly. I mean, the scene is kind of fun, but it is also just very silly.
So Twitch chat, they all just start posting fucking pog faces.
It's kind of like I don't remember where I saw it, but it's like a joke where people could literally be. It was in. Damn, what was it in? Oh, it was in Scream Queens. One of the girls in the sorority is being murdered, and like she's like live tweeting or whatever, saying like, "Oh my god, he's stabbing me right now," and all this stuff. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that shit is so stupid.
It's supposed to be though. They know it is. It's
not
not like they're going in.
I just feel like it's been like that shit's kind of been overdone. Like I feel like I've seen that joke 100 times.
But I think we've also went through a stage of where these horror movies have taken themselves too seriously. Like, so this is going full circle back to where it was. Like I said,
because I think that's what we said when we saw Halloween Kills. Like, well, give us something that doesn't take itself so damn seriously.
And it would be one thing, like I said, Halloween Kills would be one thing if it took itself seriously and nailed it.
Yeah.
It fucking doesn't nail it.
The execution is horrible in Halloween Kills. But if you want to hear all about that, go back and listen to that episode.
No.
And remember, folks, evil dies tonight.
And if you guys want to go back and listen to an episode about a great sequel to a movie, I'm not even talking about a horror sequel or slasher sequel. I'm talking about just sequel in general. Go back and listen to our episode Psycho 2. It's a fucking great episode. But anyway, so he's killing everybody on the chainsaw. Melody and Lila. What's your cat's name, Stella?
Layla.
Who the fuck is Lily? Oh, that's my stepdad's cat. She passed away. R.I.P. Lila. I guess there's a bathroom in this bus, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it's unrealistic because it looks too clean. I'm like, look, you're on a bus, 7-hour drive. Someone's pissing on the toilet seat because I piss on my own toilet seat all the time.
You know these millennials be shitting everywhere.
They sit down when they pee. You know.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So they try to sneak. They start sneaking out through the window. That's
through the wall. The sweat dropped down my balls.
Oh, these female crawl.
No, actually, everybody's getting killed. The banker chick tries to get through the window of the bus, and then Leatherface just cuts her in half. But when he sees everybody's dead, he's like looking around all happy, and he hears them make noises in the bathroom, which I'm pretty sure he didn't think that existed. He goes, "What's a bathroom?" And they're trying to get through the little like window roof thing of the bathroom, and then Lila gets out, and Leatherface saws into the door before Melody could get out, but then she stabs him with the chainsaw corkscrew from the beginning of the movie. And then they get out, and then he fucking just kind of takes off. But that's when Sally shows up. I'll let Cody take over again.
Oh, Sally. So yeah, Sally shows up, and again, something that is setting up certain expectations for her character, and ends up being just flipped around.
She's spoofing Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, she's basically the Jamie Lee Curtis character from the Halloween 2018, except you think that, she's all ready to take him on. She's a badass. This is going to be like a big fight. He pretty easily outsmarts her.
Okay, first off, before you get to the outsmarting part. Okay, this is how psycho this bitch is. She gets the kids.
Oh, yeah.
They're running towards us. Let's get out. Get in the back. And she goes, we got to go. Let's go. And she goes,
I can't leave.
And he wants you, so you're going to have to stay. She's going to use him as bait. And then she gets her fucking gun, and you see the light come on in his room in the house. So she goes upstairs, and he's just sitting there, chainsaw sitting there, and she starts reciting all the names to everybody from the first one.
Yeah, and immediately I'm thinking, I don't think he ever knew any of their names. I don't think
he didn't give a shit.
He's just like, hello, what's your name?
He just looked at her, and he's just like, and she doesn't. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure Leatherface knows she isn't going to shoot him because she has the fear in her eyes. He picks up his chainsaw, looks at her, and she keeps saying, he's like, say you remember what you did. And he turns around and just walks out. Like, I don't give a shit what you did. So he goes to the fucking police van that she has. I don't think it's a police van, but it's something. And they're having a heart-to-heart moment between the girls. And Lila's like, I should have been killed back at the school. And her sister's like, I'm not going to let him kill you. And all of a sudden he fucking bashes the fucking window in and starts like trying to grab him and shit. They're like, ah! It's fucking hilarious. I love it. And then, Sally shoots him, and she comes out laughing like, ha, 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 ha. And she starts giving him another speech, and he looks at her, and he takes off running, and she goes, listen, motherfucker.
Yeah, I like, this is the part when he kind of outsmarts her. It's almost like he's revving the chainsaw in the alleys, knowing that the echo is going to throw her off as to where he's at. And then it is a cool shot when, he comes charging out of the darkness. But again, it's another one of those just silly moments where it's like she takes 3 shots at him and not a single one fucking hits him. He's the size of a damn barn.
Well, the thing it's a shotgun too, for God's sakes. How the fuck can you miss?
The thing about this though, established in the earlier shot, he knows she's afraid of him. She didn't shoot him when she was at point blank, and he just walked off. So that, and to me, like, you can look at it as him like, okay, she's afraid of me. So he's just running at her, and like I said, you have somebody running at you from the darkness. You're gonna be like, oh shit! So she fucking misses the first shot. And, then he fucking is like, he's acting all ballistic because it's going to make you nervous and you're going to miss. And that's when they swing around, he hits the gun with the saw and then fucking saws her up the fucking middle. Completely destroying the expectation that she's going to get her revenge.
Yeah.
And then, then they go like, we're going to get him. And somehow she gets the keys. She got the keys back from Sally before all this happened. I forgot about that part. And they're about to take off, and they start, and she's like, she's gonna run over Leatherface. Well, he fucking throws the chainsaw at the windshield and fucking runs off and gets hit.
They get the key back because I guess she goes back out there or whatever and throws the keys to him and tells him to leave, but also doesn't open the door for him. So it's like, okay. So she's
and the
gonna
thing is, Leatherface is a bear.
Yeah,
Leatherface is a bear. This is what he is. Because the bears are going to charge you. You can sit there and say, like, if I had a shotgun, I'd shoot a bear before he charged me. They'd get to you pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
And that's what he is. And he's trying to survive. They have a gun that's better than a chainsaw. I know this. I'm going to run away and fucking distract him. And that's what he's doing this whole fucking time.
Right.
And it's just kind of ironic. And I don't know. I didn't make this connection while I was watching the movie. I just made the connection now. When he hides in the old movie theater and Lila goes in there with the gun to, like, shoot him. He rips at the chainsaw, and she goes over to where she hears the chainsaw, but it's right next to a fucking, like, Smokey the Bear, like, stand-up thing, or a bear from a movie stand-up.
Yeah.
So he is the bear, and he fucking charges her.
Yeah.
Like, again, expectations. Like I said, I kind of expected some of this stuff, because it did feel like Friday the 13th, but it still made me jump. Like, they were effective in the jump scares to me.
Yeah. So where are we at this point? So, movie theater, okay, because he's already killed. Well, you think he's killed Sally. She's got some life left in her. She loads the shotgun and gives it to Lila.
And then the best part is, she goes, as she's dying, she goes, "Don't run away. He'll always haunt you." I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. You just got sawed, and you've been holding on to this for 50 years. You know what I would do in this situation? Okay, you want to sit there and be smart? Okay, Cody wants to sit there and like, well, it's just not common sense. Motherfucker, if all this happened, I'd be like, okay, I have the keys, I'm getting in the car, and I'm actually driving, and I'm leaving. I'm not going to think about this place, and I'm not going to warn anybody. Again, it didn't happen.
It's another thing that doesn't make sense, because it's like, I'm going to listen to this crazy old woman who you just used this as bait, and I'm going to go try and hunt this guy down. Yeah. Never mind getting in this vehicle and just driving away, Yeah.
And there's another scene that kind of is like, okay, there's 2 more scenes in this movie that kind of pull me out. Like, this is kind of stupid, but it's also very on par with a slasher movie. But anyway, there's a whole epic little fight thing in the movie theater. She's on the ground, and he's about to saw her because he kicks the shotgun away, and she's accepted the fact she's going to die. And you hear this, but it almost sounds like her cell phone's going off. So I was kind of confused. Like,
it was actually a fart.
It was a fart, or it was a queef. But
all this running really builds up the air.
All this excitement gets me excited. Anyway. Well, she turns around, and Melody is riding Leatherface like he's a Bronco, going, yeah!
Yeah.
And she, I can't remember what the fuck happens. Well, first and foremost, there's one more ridiculous scene. He throws the chainsaw at her feet and it cuts her ankles.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of stupid. I was like,
really? And then she no-sells it the rest of the movie. Like, she walks with no limp, nothing. It's great.
Yeah.
And then, like, I can't remember what happened. She shoots him twice. Boom,
and then she tries
boom,
to shoot him a third time when he's on the edge of that fall, or on the edge of that drop, and realizes that she doesn't have any more ammo because that shotgun only holds 2 rounds at a time. Or
and then
Sally
the scene
just
that throws
loaded
me
2.
out.
You talking about where Melody picks up the chainsaw and like uppercuts him with it?
Yeah, but she's like, and she's like ripping up with her teeth out, like ah.
Yeah.
And then she does the, like the Leatherface. I guess this has to be a callback to Leatherface in Mortal Kombat X, the uppercut with the chainsaw.
This was like a Street Fighter moment. Like in Street Fighter 2 when you beat an opponent and they're like gah gah. It was like that.
You win. Perfect.
Yeah, well, it was far from perfect.
Yeah, it was.
She took quite a bit of damage on that one.
But then they have like the sister moment. Are you okay? And she's like, no. And then they just start laughing and hugging. And so another scene that pulls me out. She's walking towards the Tesla, and then she picks up the picture that Sally had, and then picks up Sally's hat and puts it on. With Sally's dead body's like right next to you.
I thought that was weird. It's like, for one, why do you care about the picture? On the ground.
Like, yeah, well, no. How did Sally get that picture? Like, isn't that the picture? Like,
no, she had their own picture. Like, someone else had a camera on the van.
Okay.
It's a fucking slasher movie. Quit thinking about this shit.
Like,
yeah, that is weird. You know what, Owen? I didn't think about that because the hitchhiker's the one that took the picture, right?
Well, they had their own camera though, and shit like that.
Yeah, I guess that's what.
Because she's not in that picture, everybody else is in the picture.
I thought it was the one from the hitchhiker when I saw it.
That's what I thought.
Hey, you give me $2?
Yeah, and he puts it in his little fur bag.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she picks up the hat, which I also thought was weird. It's like, oh, okay.
Her dead body's like right next to you. You're grabbing her hat. There's not like checking on anybody or anything.
Yeah, if anything, like go place her hat with her body, or just don't touch it. Why put it on your
Dante's
head?
body. By the way, Dante's body's still like by the library, just hanging out.
Yeah,
and they have the little.
Forget it.
So they have a little scene. They're like talking back and forth. She goes, I guess I will move here with you. And they're like, oh, fuck off. And then Leatherface fucking comes out of nowhere, grabs the bitch out of the car, and in a very swift moment that I have to respect because I couldn't do this getting out of the shower if I was trying to answer the phone, fucking holds her down to her knees and fucking saws her fucking head off perfectly.
Like he's fucking ISIS.
And Jesus Christ, man.
He holds up her head like
what the fuck?
Like he's ISIS too. He's like
I don't know. If
holy
I should
shit,
that.
Man! I was gonna be like,
in or not.
You go ahead and leave it in. It's fine. Jesus Christ!
And then he starts swinging the chainsaw around.
Well, here's the thing, though. Call back to the first movie. You see Leatherface buzzing with the saw towards her in the truck bed, and it's a shot of her, go go go, yelling at the guy driving the truck, and it goes back to Leatherface. Well, the self-driving car, Lila's able to hang off the top of the car going, no, no, no. And he's just sitting there holding the head at her like, look what I got. Like, he's literally doing that. He's bouncing.
Yeah, because these lazy people get in their car and they decide, we're going to turn it on autopilot.
And he goes, so they can fuck in their car.
And Leatherface is like...
even better.
Well,
and Leatherface is like... Leatherface goes, and I walked 20 miles back to town just to kill you people. You can't drive your own fucking car. But anyway, real quick, he does the quick little chainsaw thing, and then it cuts to what I think is actually a cool little fucking theme for the closing credits. I liked it. I'm going to put it in this episode where Cody is after I download it. And then there's a quick little bonus scene of Leatherface walking back to the old house.
Yeah, I skipped the credits just to get to the scene, so I didn't hear the theme.
Damn it, I didn't see the damn.
Well, I'll show you, but no, like.
Oh yeah, I forgot you told me that.
Yeah. Well, there's a visual credits part. Like as soon as not the black credits with the blue letters scrolling. It's the quick shots of the chainsaw, and you see all the mold people, like the producers and shit. I enjoy that music. I'm like, it sounds pretty cool. It's a cool little theme. It's like a remix of the original Leatherface theme.
So what is What is the end credits?
It just shows him walking, and he's huffing and puffing like he walked a long fucking way.
Fuck.
But he goes back to the Sawyer house in the first movie.
He goes, modern day Sawyer, mean warrior, something, mean strain.
But that was the end of the movie,
Yeah.
and
So I guess we'll get to our recommendations.
I'll
Owen?
go last.
Owen, would you recommend this fine motion picture here?
It was alright. I mean, if you like slashers, go ahead and watch this. I don't know. I'm not a big slasher guy, so it was okay, you know.
Okay. Yeah, I think I would recommend it. I mean, if you're a fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's definitely like worse movies in this series. It's not the cream of the crop, but I still would recommend watching it. Especially it's a Netflix movie, so if you already got Netflix, it's not going to cost you anything. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Bert?
And for me, I would have to say I recommend it. And definitely for a one watch, and everybody should watch it just to have fun with it. It is a movie to have fun with. It does not. It uses stereotypes, like we said. And there's a few things. It's like, okay, you didn't have to touch on that and the realistic stuff, and even the unrealistic stuff's a little over the top, which is fine. It's a slasher movie. That's what I love about it. Like I said, this is the closest thing that I've had to a Jason movie in a long time, and I enjoyed it. Even the first time watching it, I enjoyed it more the second time. And I can't say the same thing about the Halloween movies. And I think, like I said, this movie was even spoofing that. Like, okay, here's your expectations. And not in a Ryan Johnson, let's subvert your expectations, your parents are nobodies type of way. But in okay, she's going to be Jamie Lee Curtis and she's going to get a revenge. No, she's getting a fucking chainsaw through her fucking stomach. It was great. And, yeah. So I definitely recommend this movie, and I thought it was incredibly fun. Like, not funny, like laugh at this movie so bad, because that's a very stuck-up type of way of looking at movies. This isn't Citizen Kane. This isn't The Godfather Part 2. But this is better than Halloween Kills, and it's definitely better than Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So, I definitely recommend this movie.
Okay. So, Owen, have you picked out what movie we're doing?
Yeah, I want to do the first Jurassic Park.
The first Jurassic Park?
Did it? What are those? What are those? Those.
Dinosaurs.
Man, Owen picked a good movie to watch. That's awesome.
Yeah, for the first time. No, I'm kidding.
For the first time in a long time.
So,
I mean, it's been the first time since Apocalypse Now that you picked a good movie.
So there you have it. Our next film is going to be Jurassic Park. I don't want to say any more from the future because things happen with the show and get mixed up.
Well, I mean, let's go ahead and tell them what's going to happen in the future, Cody. Okay?
So the Fugitive, for one, looks like it's going to be our long lost.
But it's going to be a bonus episode at some point.
Yeah, because there have been several technical issues with the first recording, and then now the file that I had for my recording seems to be corrupt, and I cannot get it exported.
Let me get this out real quick. The first time, it was my fault because my microphone was going to shit. The second time, Cody did not download his fucking file till 2 months later, and it turns out it was corrupted by a virus in the computer that raped it up its butt. So this is Cody's fault. So we're going to do it in probably a month and a half, maybe even 2 months. We'll re-record it and release it as a bonus thing. Yeah. And after Jurassic Park, we're going to be doing The Batman and then Rise of Skywalker. Those are definitely my choices, so that's not going to change.
And then it'll be whatever Owen's next movie is, and then I know whenever my next selection comes back around, it's going to be Willy Wonka, the famous chocolatier.
Is that song in the movies, or is that just for their chocolate brand that they have?
No, that's in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Also,
in a world of pure imagination.
Yeah, I know that one is. So it's just fucking Wonka. Willy Wonka.
The snozberries taste like snozberries. The testicle berries taste like testicle berries.
Spit it out.
And now, any and everybody out there, go and find out the brand of chainsaw from the original movie in this movie, and make
send
sure
it
you
to
buy.
our P.O. box.
Well, just buy that product. Buy that brand of product for anything because it's going to last you 50 years and run like a fucking
you
top.
can cut through anything. Steel fucking pipes.
Shit pipes. And the only reason that fucking company doesn't make cars is because the other car company have conspired against it from doing that because they would never make any money.
They need Leatherface to do one of those TV as seen on TV things. It's like it can even cut through glass and just
he's like Billy Mays.
And the last thing I gotta say this because I won't be able to say this ever again. Invalid.
If you get the chainsaw and it breaks, you can just slap some flex tape on it.
So now I'm with the invalids.
But all right, I guess for next time we'll see y'all for. What
are those? What are those? What are those?
Dinosaurs.
I had somebody, real quick, Cody, before we cut off. Have you stopped recording yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I have to call out Brittany real quick because I wanted a Dragon Zord toy from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for Christmas, and she got me it, and it's beautiful. And she very nonchalantly calls it a dinosaur because of the dinos. Well, I don't think she goes that deep with it, but obviously the first round of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, they had the dinosaurs. T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus. Okay. The Dragon Zord is like a fucking Mecha Godzilla. And a dragon obviously is not a fucking dinosaur. But she calls it a fucking dinosaur, and it really pisses me off. And it kind of just fits with the dress.
It's like that meme where it's that guy cornering that girl, and he's like, "Look, babe, it's called a Dragon Zord. Look."
I'm a meme now?
Yeah.
Dragon Zord.
Dragon Zord. Dragon Zord. Okay, that is the end of the episode. Goodbye, everybody.